now you're trying to make me not be so tough on you. You know, I give a lot of thought to the message that I want to deliver. And I always wonder at what level can people really get how powerful they are, to really believe it, so they can change the circumstances of their lives with one transformational experience. And it is always my intention to provide for you enough organized thought to make you think and to make you recognize the absolute miracle that lives in each one of us. If you ponder the question, and I'm going to start with rediscovering who we really are. If you ever pondered the question, when you say I, who are you speaking of? Who is the I in each of us? And it is that I which is really the creative genius and power of everything you do in life. See, because that I is not matter. It is not your corporeal body. It is a spirit called soul. And in such a way to understand it, so that you get your connection to divinity, is that you are already participating in the divine energy that created this universe. You never got to vote on it. You couldn't be here without it. What does that mean? That means that you are very powerful. But it seems like an interesting game. You see, all creatures out there that are classified as animals, they just seem to do their natural thing without having too much choice about how they do it. They are programmed. And then if you look at the fruits and vegetables and trees on the planet, you recognize something very simple. Why does an apple tree give apples this year and not oranges next year? Seems to me there's some intellectual, creative design of consistency. When you look at the whole universe, there's only a number of simple elements that comprise everything we see. When you look out into the universe and you recognize that our galaxy is only one of billions of galaxies and billions of planets, always extending out further. So what is it? Well, if I can recognize that my body is the transitory state of being, and I recognize in the depths of all people, they do feel there's something beyond just simply this life, then the question becomes, how come it is so universally imbued into the fiber of our psyche that that question is not answered with a profound, yes, there is? Then why do we live as such cowards, denying our power? And that brings me to the next thing, and that is our self-images are terrible. Let's look at that for a moment, because you need to free yourself to become the great that's in you. The self-image prescribes the limits of our possibilities for each one of us. What we truly think of ourselves is controlling everything in our lives. Every behavior and thought is consistent with what you really hold yourself to be, your self-image. It is brought about by the belief system. And then we ask, where does that belief system come from? Well, it is superimposed in our childhood, is it not? It's given to us. And we are devoid of having to think about it. And if someone says to you, you're stupid, at a formative age, you go through life believing you're not academically inclined or very bright. And you will prove it. Because the way the mind operates, it's going to deliver to you exactly what you ask for. So if your belief is you're not capable, then you are going to have plenty of evidence in your life to validate that belief. But what if the truth is that you are really, really powerful? Then maybe you need to forgive some people in your past that may have convinced you you were not. Maybe it was a parent, well-intentioned. Maybe it was a teacher who perhaps didn't like you. Maybe it was a brother or a sister or a friend or a boss that gave an opinion to you that you bought and lived it out. Shame on you. Take control of yourself. Quit hiding. We are very clever beings. Sometimes we don't want the truth because it will compel us to change. So we keep skirting the truth because we see the horrors of our anticipation in the fabrication of our imaginations. And we go out there and we see the horrors that might come our way if we really dig in and make something really happen with our lives. The nice thing about this, it's never too late. Isn't that nice? It's never too late to be reborn. It's never too late to start again. And I understand now it is built upon the belief system. Whose belief system? Yours. You bought the story. You bought the opinions of others about you. You bought it all. And then you become what you bought. Why not try buying a new truth that you are a miracle waiting to happen? What's wrong with that thought? It might change your experience of life from this day forward. That's what's right about it. But do you need to be responsible? Of course. Every person at some level has been dealt a winning hand. Maybe not a similar condition, but a winning hand in the condition they're in. The problem is, too many people stop striving, stop developing, stop growing personally, stop building themselves spiritually, and they expect life is going to be good to them. That's not how it works. Too many people are unhappy. Too many people are unethical. Too many people think that whatever I think is good, no matter how I get there, I'm going to get there. Shame on you. This is a universe of laws. And I'll tell you something about these laws. They don't give a damn if you ever learn them. And if you learn them, if you like them, they don't care. They just are. They control the game. If you ever study Emerson's laws of compensation, it'll become crystal clear to you we get away with nothing. Time is the equalizer. Time is the dispenser of justice. Do an unethical deed and just wait. It will be paid for. I've often told people, you don't get punished for your sins. You get punished by them right here in this life. Clean it up. So the self-image will only be improved when you develop new beliefs about yourself. Now we have a starting point. We're miracles. We have a starting point. We're connected to divinity just by having spirit. That's a powerful, powerful starting point. Because all knowledge exists there. Knock, and it shall be open to you. Seek, and you shall find. What's wrong with us? We don't ask, we don't meditate, we don't think, we react. We sit here today as a wonderful group of people. When I see the different ethnics, the different belief systems, and I see all of humanity in something like this, and I see us all sitting together, all with some common thread, and I wonder what's wrong with our world. Well, I'll tell you, we could be an example for the world, but we have to clean ourselves up first. So in order to improve my self-image, I must take on new behaviors that make me understand a new belief about myself. That means I must step out and do that which prior to now is uncomfortable. When I do it, I conquer. I conquer the one that always needs to be conquered. It's the one in the mirror. Aristotle and Plato debated this many times, and both came up with the same conclusion. The biggest struggle and battle that a human being is going to have in life is to be able to conquer themselves. Whoa. We're afraid of everything. Have you noticed? I gave a talk many years ago called Breaking Survival and Security Addictions. Both of them are illusions, and yet we're addicted to them. We're addicted to staying alive knowing full well that the corporeal body ceases to exist, changes into other forms of matter, and is reused in nature. So we know that survival, that's not really true. And security is the biggest joke. How many of you had careers and you thought they were going to last forever and you got made redundant? How many of you had relationships that you thought would never end and they did? Security is nothing. There is no such thing. There is only the moment you're in to create the life we want. But you need to straighten out your thinking. Which gets me to how we think. And I will suggest that very few people really think. Most people keep rearranging antique ideas and going through life with the same ideas. They're uncomfortable with new ideas because the answers given to us are a respite for us. We don't need to think. We're kind of comfortable not having to grapple with the big questions in life. So we sit there in our brains, leisurely rusticate in antiquity, and we wonder why we're not growing. We wonder why our relationships are not alive, because perhaps a great part of us is not alive. So the human mind, there's the conscious and the unconscious. And I say, listen to it this way. The thinker thinks, that's the conscious mind. And the prover proves. That's the unconscious mind. What does the prover prove? The prover proves what the thinker thinks. So I think a thought. I'm the creator of that thought. The stimulus out there that provokes my mind to think, I have to give an interpretation and meaning, yes? So what are the filters that you're looking through before you even declare what it is you're seeing or understanding? All of the filters of your background, all the influences of your education, all the influences of your religion, all the influences of what you think about yourself. You have 1,000 filters in front of you before you even declare what it is you've thought of. But you think a thought. And then you have a feeling or an emotion. The combination of those two will pitch us into a behavior. Our behaviors over time become our habits of thinking and reacting. Put those together in a string, and then you have the circumstances which you call your life as it exists now. So if you want a new life, a new beginning, something that you really want, you must change your thinking. Because it is thinking that has us where we are now. That is one of the hardest things for people to get. They want to look every place else but here. Who thinks your thoughts if not you? Who creates the interpretations of what you think to give it meaning in your life but you? It is therefore obvious that we each create our own reality from our thoughts. Dr. William James, the father of American psychology, said that a human being can alter the circumstances of their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. Hear it again. Can alter the circumstances of their lives by altering their attitudes of their minds. Are we getting it? If you hang around with negative people, you will be contaminated. Your mind will take in, see, because negative people, it makes life look easier when you're negative, even though you're miserable. Because you can be a critic. I've never seen a statue erected to a critic, have you? They know everything but what to do. They know what's wrong with everything, but they are not solution-oriented. Leaders know what's wrong, but they are solution-oriented. They're not looking to eat the hole in the donut. They want to solve the donut needed. So ask yourself, who are you? How do you operate? What improvement could you make so that you could be the kind of person that people would want to be around? I've often told people when someone walks through the door, a discerning mind will see a light turn on or a light dim just by your mere presence. You wear in your face and your eyes your concerns, whether you're kind, sweet, caring, or you're all caught up in your own stuff. It's called countenance. Every one of us has it. There's no hiding. We're very transparent. We don't even need to speak. It's in our body language. It's in our posture. It's everywhere. We're always giving off vibrations of who we are. But when you clean it up inside, you're going to be just fine wherever you're at. You're going to sleep like a baby. And you're going to have one good journey in spite of the trials and tribulations we all face. You're going to have a new way of being with those things. So the thinker thinks and the prover proves. I can't do this. That's the thinker thinking. Guess what you will do? You will absolutely prove, because you will attract circumstances and people to you to validate the thought. So who created the result? You did. Thinker thinks, prover proves. Oh, I could never get up and speak. What do you mean? I heard you talking to Joe over there and you didn't shut up for an hour. Oh yeah, but I can never get up in front of a crowd. Why? Oh, that's just not me. Really? Who made up that rule? Well, are you kidding me? You really believe you can't speak? Oh, you've got to be kidding. So let me tell you what's going on. You're afraid to have people judge you. They've been judging you all your life. Let them have at it. You're afraid because you do not want to have anybody ridicule you. Oh, I can't stand it. How about rejection? Isn't that a wonderful thing? Huh? People will orchestrate their entire life out of one episode of rejection in their formative years. An example. Two sisters in the same family. The older sister is going to be a singer. And she's practicing and singing, and the mother is so proud. And the younger sister hears her older sister and says, I think I could sing too. And so she starts, and the mother comes along and says, oh, Susie, you're not the singer in the family. Please do something else. Now what will that kid do probably? Probably won't even never sing in a choir. Because a significant other said, you can't do it. How about the kids in school? Remember the class clown? You know why he became the class clown? Because he got attention. He wasn't getting it any other way, but being funny, he got attention. So he goes through his life as a comic, except he's not being paid. Nobody takes him seriously. But he's great at the party. But his bank account is not very good. So we need to understand the way to deal with rejection is let it be okay. The way to deal with emotions, which to me is what cripples people from their greatness. The improper interpretation and handling emotions. Think about how you use your emotions. They control you until you let them be okay the way they are. An example, I don't like rejection, but I'm going to tell you what, it's never going to stop me again. Could you do that if you wanted to? Answer yourself. Could you do it if you had the courage to say, it's never stopping me again? You need to be like that with yourself, or you're going to wimp out. What is rejection? It's an opinion of someone else liking you or disliking you, agreeing or disagreeing. Big deal. Who do we think we are that everybody should love us? Don't work that way. So, dealing with rejection, here's what happens. That which you resist about yourself as not being okay persists within you as not being okay. So that which you resist, if this is something I don't like, and I'm resisting it, you notice I'm pushing against it, wishing it weren't here, okay? Guess what I'm doing? I'm giving psychic and spiritual energy to preventing it from being in my experience. But if I surrender, powerful word, if I surrender that it's okay, I'm the one that's giving it meaning. They just have an opinion. I don't have the same opinion of myself anymore. So now here comes rejection. Oh, I know what that's all about. Whoop, bye-bye. See the difference? Take any emotion that's bothering you and stopping you. And be careful of your mismanaged imaginations. What I mean by that is when you talk with people and you get to know them in history, they always talk about yesterday. Have you noticed that? And when people are having problems, they always go back and beat themselves up. As though they could change something now. Like they could undo what happened. And in their imaginations, they actually create themes of what have I done this, and done this, and done that, and done this. And they spend an awful lot of time, and guess what that leads to? The first cousin to anxiety is depression. So you go into depression, then depression says, oh, you need a little more anxiety. What about? About what might happen tomorrow. Are we always worried about tomorrow? And that we fail to live today. Life is a moment-by-moment experience called now, nothing else. Nothing else. You're living now. So when is the right time to make the changes you need to have the full life that you deserve? Now. See, people are always waiting for something else. Why don't you get it? It's now. Now I am powerful. Now I forgive everybody who ever messed with me because I want to be free. When you carry bitterness, anger, hatred in your heart, you're the one that's getting eaten up, thinking the other person, they might be out dancing and not even caring what you're thinking. Oh yeah, but I can't do that. That's another rule you made up. Why? You want to be right that they're so wrong? Why don't you understand something? If you were them, you'd probably done the exact same thing with the same mind, with the same influences. Out would have come the same behavior. Is that an insight? So forgive them. So you can be free yourself. And there's something else about forgiveness. If you don't forgive yourself for whatever mistakes you made in the past, you do not have the gift to give to someone else. So forgive yourself. Start anew. We are most imperfect. We're just struggling to become better. But there are very few chances in life when you hear about it. Today, everything is not what we're talking about here right now. And yet, everything that you and I are, everything that we want in our lives, is this stuff. Goals. Don't you hate them? Come on. If they said, George is going to come out here today and he's going to talk about goals, half of the audience would have been comatose in the first 5 minutes. Because we hate them. We don't want them. Because if you set a goal, you almost feel compelled to reach it. But if you don't set a goal and make it unnecessary, you're conning yourself. It's a big con job. And what's underneath it, let's go peel the onion a little deeper. And what it's really saying is this: what if I don't stack up? So therefore, don't engage, because then I won't be made and exposed to be the joke that I am. The person who never sticks with anything. The person who speaks one thing and does another. I don't want to be revealed. Therefore, I don't set goals. Yet, every single great achiever I've studied, number one, they set goals. They wrote them down. They organized their daily activities to support the goal. And the strength of the goal tied into the strength of their faith and belief to get there. That's when you start tying in. When you believe, and it's a good thing, you're going to get a lot of help. Gandhi said it this way, that if a human being starts with passion to achieve something, even though when they start, they do not possess the knowledge, the tools, or the people to facilitate them getting to that desired end, if they keep on going in faith and belief, those things shall be added to you in the journey on your way. Absolutely true in this business. Absolutely true. When you begin, I tell people, if at first you do succeed, please try to hide your astonishment. It's not normal. There's growth that must take place. But you know something? I've seen miracles in this industry, in transformation of human beings into great, caring, loving, prosperous people that will never turn back. But they pay the price. They pay the price, and we don't like paying prices. We live in a world today that stimulus response, just give it to me now, I want it fast, don't tell me I have to work hard. And there's a temptation for young people to get off track, not have an ethical basis for what they're doing. Please coach them. They're heading for disaster. Don't stand by and say, well, he's in my downline, he's doing we're getting a lot of volume. We're getting a lot of erosion and destruction down the road. Protect this thing we have. Make it important to you, because there's so many people in this world that need what we have, and we are the representatives of what it is. Clean it up. We look and we say, commitment. Commitment is doing the thing you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Here's commitment for most people when they're pumped up. Whoo, man, watch out. Whoo, wait till you see me go. I'll do what it takes, George. Whatever it takes, as long as it takes. Until it gets too tough. Until someone hurts my feelings. Until 3 people don't come to my meeting. Until Joe said he was going to buy an order and he doesn't even return my phone call. So let me make it easy for you. Most people don't do what they say they're going to do with any consistency. So that brings me to the notion of motivation. We have the wrong idea of motivation. See, motivation is an emotion, isn't it? Feeling pumped up. All emotions are fleeting. They enter, they express, linger, and leave. So when I'm pumped up, I should be thankful for the little jolt to reinforce my commitment. But I am a fool if I think motivation is going to be my constant companion as I go through the dump of problems and concerns as we go to the top. Again, the word surrender. If that's what's real about it, then why should I fight it? Here we go, resistance, resistance. No, it's okay. I'm a different person now, see? That's what you want to say. I expect things to go wrong. I expect the company's not going to be perfect. I expect my reps will do it sometimes and won't do it others. I expect I'll make appointments and they won't show. I'll expect I'll get the room all ready for an opportunity meeting and I was expecting 20 and 3 show. You take that stage with an attitude, you're a loser. Because you don't know who in those 3 might be your superstar. And as you grow in the business, maintain your humility. Maintain it. Never think yourself superior to anybody in your organization. Just don't do it. There are a lot of companies that would never have a talk like this. It's all about money. And when it's all about money, you're going to have a lot of discouragement as life goes on. Because money will do some good things for you, but if you ever make it your God, be careful. Money, to me, is a consequence of your contribution. If your contribution is noble, you'll enjoy your money. You'll be deserving of it. Adopt a servant's attitude. Adopt a servant's attitude. See, in this industry, you'll never be crowned a king or a queen long before you have been a good servant. So you must learn how to serve. And I talk about leaders, I say a good leader is made of velvet and steel. Velvet for concern and love and compassion, and steel for direction and correction when it's needed. Steel, standing up when everything's going wrong and saying, this too we shall conquer because I said so. Wow. Now here's what a lot of people do in this type of business. Something's not going right. And then all those people who are just begging for an excuse, just begging for, oh, it's the company, it's this, it's my upline, it's this, it's that. So here goes the chatterboxes. Mr. Negative meets another Mr. Negative, pretty soon you got 2. Within no time you see that little group clustered off there, kibitzing back and forth about what's wrong and how if they were doing it, they would do this, they would do that. They don't have a clue how to run a corporation. But they're going to tell everybody how it should be done. You got any people like that? Are they CEOs of companies where they could even offer a thought? And if they were, they wouldn't be telling them to you. They'd be writing letters or coming in for a meeting. They do it professionally. Stay away from the naysayers. They are people looking for excuses to fail. They're people who never stood up and took command of themselves. It's always somebody else's fault. Projecting everything that's wrong someplace else. Now, just look at life. When you know people who are negative like that, is not their life a reflection of those thoughts? That's all you need to do. When you meet a person who's uplifting, a delight to be around, on the go, moving, vision-oriented, do you notice a difference? The way they walk, the way they talk, the way they carry themselves. And you think, oh, they're just fortunate and special. No, they made themselves special. They took their God-given gifts and went to work with them. They didn't want this experience of life to just be a dumping ground. No matter where they came from, there was something great they could do. And you bloom where you're planted. Everybody has an opportunity for greatness in their own environment. But we get succumbed to the ether of the environment, and if it's negative, it takes courage to stand up and say, this I will not participate in. I have command of me, not you, not her. I have command of my spirit and my mind, and I'm going to do the right thing. You know the person who has ethics figured out is the person who's walking the beach at midnight with no one around picking up the empty beer cans. That's a person who has figured it out. The person who hasn't figured it out would be one throwing it on the sand. Do you hear me? Are you a thrower on the sand? Or are you a quiet person who just simply does what's right no matter who's watching? Then you know you have some character. And is character important? Character is all important. Your word. You have any idea how powerful your word is? When you speak it, it's such power. And when you do what you speak, you are powerful. And when you are known as someone who does what they speak, people will follow you because they want to follow confident people who care. We've been crying for this type of leadership all our lives. Many of us, our bosses, were just another fixture. Our companies, we just fill a slot for a period of time until they don't need us, and then we're made redundant. And we genuflect before these gods of security that are illusions. And we get an opportunity to change our lives, which mandates that we change our thinking. Because you can't use old thinking in something like this. Because the transformation has to be us. New. Belief. You see, all of selling, I'll give you your PhD in selling right now. Would you like it? Would you like a PhD in selling? The best people in sales are those who take a firm conviction in their heart and soul and convey that conviction with a style. It's so powerful, and they let it be whatever it's going to be after they're that way. So it's transferring a conviction from a seller to a prospect or a buyer. That's what I'm sending off. I'm not sending off the compensation plan. We'll get to that. I'm sending off how confident I am, how much I believe, why I believe. Let me tell you a little story. I told this yesterday at the leadership, and I think it's worth understanding. When I contemplated what is this network marketing thing, what is residual income, there's a lot of language, business language you can put to that. But I believe very strongly in the old school of parables and stories. They seem to resonate with people. So let me tell you a story about what we've got a hold of here. And here's the way I suggest you use it. Don't have it be your thought. Have it be something you heard that made so much sense to you. Got it? And I thought it'd be nice to share it with you, your prospect. And this conversation loosens up. Here it goes. Have you ever been in a contemplative mood where you don't know what you're going to do next? Like the jobs are not so great, the money's not so good, and you decide to kind of dwell on it and meditate on it. And so one evening, you walk out into a big open field, and you're thinking about this, and you're contemplating. And off in the distance, you see a bright light, and you wonder, what is that bright light? And so you can't help yourself, you keep walking toward the bright light. As you get closer, you notice that it's a cave. Your curiosity is really getting you now because, heck, there's no electricity out here. What is illuminating in that cave? So you walk in the cave and you notice there's a big, deep hole in the middle of the cave and this light's just emanating out of there. And you look around the wall, and now you're really puzzled. The walls are laden with shovels. Just shovels, just thousands of shovels all the way around the cave. And you go, what the heck is this about? So you walk over and look down into the cave, and you see all sorts of glittering gold coins, gold, gold, gold. And just about that time, a genie appears and says to you, would you like some of that gold? You go, of course I would, are you kidding? Well, you can have some. So you run and grab a shovel. And as you're ready to go down with your shovel, the genie says this to you. That's the way you've been doing it all your life. How's it worked so far? You go, let me explain to you what's there for you. And you go, well, I see. No, you don't see. You see like you've always seen. Now I want you to see how it is. Do you know people that need opportunity? Do you know people that would like more gold in their family? Yes. Would you like to introduce them to the possibility here? Why, sure. Of course I would. How many do you think you would know? 5, 6, 10, 15, 20? If you believed you saw it? Oh, easily. Well, guess what? Every one of them can take a shovel too. But what's really beautiful, it does not interfere with what you shovel, but you get a little percentage of everything they shovel. Oh, you gotta be kidding. I mean, no, don't go yet. You see those 8 or 10 that grab their shovels, guess what? They can go get their friends to see the same thing, and they grab the shovel. You go, whew, you gotta be kidding. No, don't go, because you get a part of that too. All of a sudden, you can't believe what you're hearing. But you hear it in a way that you can start believing, because that's what it is. So if you quit, what are you going to do next? But if you stay 2 or 3 years, there was a university president or professor that studied this industry and said anybody who is serious with a good company, if they'll put in the hard, dedicated work for 2 to 3 years, they will not believe what could possibly happen for their fortunes. Have you got 2 or 3 years in you? Because don't you come in here and think you're going to score grand slam home runs tomorrow. I get really nervous when I hear, oh, I got a person that made TC in 45 days. I'm waiting for the crash. I wonder how that was really built. Was it ethical? Was it right? And you come into the room with the serious business candidate, and they're listening to that from the front of the room. And here's Joe, he made TC in 45 days. And some guy comes up there in a zoot suit, and he's, yeah, that's me, man. That serious business person knows full well that's not normal, there's something not right. This doesn't smell right to me. Because the serious businessman knows to build something solid takes time. So we are not looking for the sprinters. We're looking for the marathon runners. Are you one of them? If we collectively believe in the vision of where we can go from here, do you know how powerful, how much consciousness, energy there will be in this company? Do you have any idea of the power that sits in this auditorium right now? Because if you did, you'd want to participate in it. You'd want to be part of this mastermind group that's going to set the example for the industry. We're not only going to win, we're going to win with pride, dignity, and integrity. Does that appeal to you? Wow. negativity. Negative emotions break down the immune system. It predisposes you, research has been done on this medically. It breaks down the immune system, predisposes you to premature aging, and yet, conversely so, positive emotions of love and caring, all of those wonderful things, empathy, those enhance the immune system and actually give off very precious endorphins that make you feel really good. I try one little exercise. I try every single day to make just one person feel better because I encountered them. And most of the time I find them in a supermarket. Some poor 65-year-old person putting groceries in a bag. And I look with great compassion, wondering what did they miss? Who were their influences? That they've been reduced to this at this age. And then I look at us with vitality and energy and brisk minds, and we get a great opportunity which we should be singing from the rooftops to help other people, and we sit on it. Don't ever say you're going to give it a try. Quit now. There's no try, there's do or not do. You see, I've taught a principle that goes like this. Tentative is no power. Tentative is lukewarm. There's no power in lukewarm. You're in or you're not in. You want power? Be in. Believe it. You can believe it if you want to. There's enough evidence here that says this is a group that's going somewhere. We've got incredible leadership, wonderful people. Join us. And if you're new here, you've been invited as a guest, I hope that your experience with us is positive and that you can leave here with some value beyond just seeing the opportunity. That you can leave here with ideas, new friendships, a sense that somebody's trying to do it right, and that you feel warm about the experience. You might have to think long and hard before you close the door on this, because we plan to do it right, and we plan to lead you in the right way. We will never be perfect, because it is in your trials and tribulations that you seek perfection and never find it. You're never done. You're never finished. We are all a work in progress. And progress is the result of dedication, of commitment, and persistence. See, persistence, to me, is probably the most powerful thing we can get to materialize our goals and our dreams. Decide what it is you want. Don't tarry around. What is your dream? Would you please sit down and write it down? Because that will magnetize the conditions, ideas, books, everything you need is going to be filled in for you. Trust me if you'll do it. Because that's the way your mind works. When I say to my mind, I want this, and I mean it, guess what? People show up, the right book shows up, the inspiration shows up, the meditation gives me answers because I declared I want something. Enthusiasm. I love it. Enthusiasm is the most powerful cosmetic in the world. It is. It's life dancing for its own enjoyment, expressing itself through you. It's wonderful to be enthusiastic, to have an uplifting way about you. It is attractive. It is ardent. It's beautiful. It brings people in your presence, okay, in a way that they feel comfortable. You don't have to overdo it, just the way you carry yourself. Remember, every one of us has an aura. You have an aura. Some people can see them. That's scary, huh? But we all give off and emanate light. Now it's either bright or it's not so bright. But it is a true reflection of what's inside you. So everything on the outside of you was made manifest on the inside of you. So the left brain has brought us a long way, but it's left the right brain sleeping. The creative part of us, the part where inventions come, where new things come, where new thoughts and ideas are born, is in the creative part of who you are. 1 and 1 will always be 2, I think. But creativity, act as though it is impossible to fail, and you won't. Let me say it again. Act when you carry yourself as though it is impossible to fail, and I promise you, you won't. Now that's a leap of faith, isn't it? We live in faith every single day. When you come to a red light, you stop. You believe that those who have the green light go. But when you come to a green light and you travel right through, you have faith that those who are at the red light are stopped. And you go right through. When you go in to eat in a restaurant, you don't think about being poisoned. You have faith that the food is going to be nutritious and well prepared for your enjoyment. You have faith. And yet when it comes to faith in yourself, the most powerful creature ever put on the planet, but we were given the power of intellect, which meant we have the power of choice. You and I have the power of choice of what we want. Then align yourself. Tap in. It's a trip. It's available to everybody. Because there can be no selectiveness about that. It is what it is. God don't play favorites. Here you are. Play the game to the best of your ability. Because this here, it wears out, it decays, the bugs eat it, and the soil assumes it. But this here can live forever because it is of spirit. So I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. One is the thought of love. To me, my observation of the world is that love is the annealing cement of everything that works for the benefit of humanity, and the lack of it is the cause of all our problems. Woo! I wrote a song, 4 or 5 years ago and recorded it. And the chorus went like this: the blood that runs within us knows nothing of our names, our colors or our creeds. It knows us as the same. The wars and evils of our age are products of our minds, thinking thoughts that justify but leave our spirits blind. So we do all of this in the space of time. 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 We're the only creatures that give a damn about it. The universe don't care. God don't care. God just is. We're the ones that are stuck in this three-dimensional experience where time seems to be everything. But let me give you a new look at time. It's now. It is now! You're here 10 seconds from now, all you have is another now to make your contribution, to make your changes, to be the best person you can be. Quit looking away from now. Do it now. For the moving finger writes and heaven written moves on. Not all our piety nor wit shall bring it back to cancel half a line. In ourselves, not in the clamor of the crowded streets, nor the shouts and plaudits of the throng, but in ourselves lies victory or defeat. So when you leave, I want you to sing like nobody can hear you, dance like nobody can see you, and love like you've never been hurt. God bless you.